on digital radio, on the app, on your smart speaker, on Twitter, YouTube, Twitch.tv, and Facebook. The Sportscast. Expect the unexpected.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk presented by The Sportscast.
The Jersey Boys Sports Talk with Victor Arocho and Byron Jones. And here's your host, Victor Arocho.
Yo, let's get going. Live out of Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Welcome to the Jersey Boys Sports Talk, hosted by Byron Jones and Victor Arocho, brought to you by The Sportscast. Today is Halloween, 10/31/2024. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to The Sportscast on all our channels, YouTube, X, Spotify, iTunes. We're streaming on any podcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Also, you get us on YouTube live every Thursday at 8 p.m. and streaming live on Facebook every Thursday at 8 p.m. All right, let's get ready. Let's just jump right into Mr. Byron Jones. How are you doing today?
I am wonderful. 80 degrees around here. It's like a heat wave. And I'm sure, the cold weather's coming, but it was 80 degrees. 80.
80 degrees. Oh, my God. Excuse me. I was sick last week. I feel a lot better, but now I got sinuses. So let's get through all that. But wasn't it cold like a week ago or something?
Yeah, it was like in the 30s at night, like 37, 34, 40. It was crazy last week. Now all of a sudden this week it flips the other way. Now it's like 80, and it's supposed to drop a little bit in the next couple of days, but still it's like crazy, man. 80 degrees. You go outside with long sleeve shirts, got to come back in the house because you're cooking with sleeves on. It's a bit of a mess.
I don't know. It's nice out here by the pool. Eric, we see you in the green room. We'll bring you right in a few minutes. All right. Is he able to hear us? All right. So let's bring Eric in to our show. It's been nice here. Let me tell you. Hold on. At the stage, Mr. Too Easy Winters. You're not going trick or treating? It's over already.
No, what's going on, fellas? How y'all doing? No, my kids, my wife, they already went out. I thought they was going to go to football practice, but they switched news.
So they went and got candy and they X'd football practice?
Listen, she the one got to stay up with them. So she taking them to go get all that sugar and carrying on. But they just do. Yeah, they going to go out and have fun. Do it the old school way. How kids should be doing things. Nowadays kids moving so fast. Nowadays you don't know what's going on with them. That's
funny. Well, I'm out of that age, so I'm doing good. So happy Halloween, everybody. All righty. We had an interesting week this week in the NFC East. So I'm going to move, Eric, I'm going to move you up. Talk about Philly since you're on the show early. Because here's the first. What's that?
I'm on the show early.
No, because I never know when you come in, so I put it in the order of way I wanted to talk about it, and I said depending on when Eric comes in, then I'll talk about the get to your Eagles, right?
Okay.
All right, but we're first gonna start with the Giants, right? All right, so let's go top headlines. Welcome to the show. All right, let's go top headlines. The Giants lose by 1 score against the Steelers, and I got some information and stats on that. Let me just tell you a little bit about the game. Is there a little noise? There's a little noise in the background. Is that you, Eric? Let me see.
No, that's just you.
That's you.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. The mic too close to your face, brother.
No, something's wrong with that. How about now?
You're good to go now.
Now you go.
That's kind of weird. All right. So I got here. You're gonna see a pattern for some reason, right? And the pattern is this. You're going to see like the stats. Man, this can't be me. I have had no problem this whole time. Hold on.
Oh, yes, it is.
FaceTime camera.
You got to get a PlayStation. You got to get a PlayStation.
I'm in Logitech. Everything's fine. Reduce mic background. See if that works. I don't know why it's doing that. Am I close to something that's not supposed to? Okay, better?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So what you're going to see a pattern is when I give you the stats, it's still making noise. Hold on, let me get out of the back.
We got to get him some headphones from PlayStation, man.
These headphones are good. I don't know what's. I've been on the phone all day with them. All right, so look at the stats here. Right now, the Steelers, I think they had a couple touchdowns called back. Is that correct, Byron?
Yeah.
Okay, but without knowing that, look at the Steelers put up 426 yards. They had passing 259. Giants had 237. Our rushing was 167. Theirs was 167. Ours was 157. I mean, just globally, everything was pretty close. We had 11 penalties for 65 yards. They had 5 for 15, and I think we had 5 penalties on one drive.
You talking about the offensive lineman?
Yeah, we had 5 penalties on one drive. I think we ended up only scoring 3 points. Right, Byron. I mean. Yeah. On paper, it looks like it was a close game. The Steelers got a great defense. They're a good team, right? They put up, 26 points. Russell Wilson's 2-0. But what do you think is going wrong here, man? I mean, on paper, it doesn't look as bad. They got beat worse than it looks.
Yeah, I don't know. Just looks are deceiving. We did figure out one thing that Tracy, the running back, is the real deal. He should be the number 1 now. We rolled out another third string, offensive tackle, Hubbard. They just signed him off the trap heap last week, and put him instead of the kid that they had last week. So that was like 2. Then you got the Deontay Banks. I don't know what's wrong with this kid. They sat him down. They sat him down in the second half. Hey, Lil E, what's up, man?
Yo, trick or treat. Happy Halloween.
Smell like feet, give me something good to eat.
That sounds like a winner's. Happy Halloween. So go ahead, Byron.
Then they sat down Banks because of some of the things that he was doing during the course of the game. The score, when they went for 2 instead of 1, just kicking a field goal, and that debacle with that formation, and I don't know, they're just a mess right now. It's just I don't know what to say about them.
I guess, would you agree that on paper it looks closer than it was, but we look terrible?
Yeah, it did look close, but we just looked bad, like disorganized train wreck.
Yeah. Eric, did you got any comments on the Giants this game, or at least any comments on what I told you?
Oh, I do. I do, because
bring it.
I told y'all. No, you wasn't here, Vic. You was away. But I think the guys were talking about it. 2 shows? No, not even 2 shows ago. And I was talking about Russell, and I said you gotta let him cook, and nobody believed me that he was gonna cook, and that guy came back doing his thing.
Time out. Let's stay on topic first. The question is the stats that I just revealed. It was a one-score game, right? Yet we still look bad. Like, that's where you're going to see that trending throughout the league. Like the stats don't look indicative to the score. That's the question.
The stats always can fool you, because on paper it is what it is. Let you like when you watching a game. I mean, I didn't have a problem with the stuff that you guys were doing. The only issue I did have was, like you said, the penalties. The penalties happen at bad times. But those are guys that you're throwing out there, because the guy who actually made the penalties that I'm referring to is the one guy, the offensive tackle that y'all just got from HBCU school. It was just too big for him at that moment, at that time. So I mean, but other than that, I'm a Dable guy. I like what he's doing. It's unfortunate that y'all season is coming down the way that it's coming down, but it could be worse. Trust me and you, it could be worse. It could be like Dallas.
Whoa! Don't say it could be worse.
Don't say it could be worse. The only thing worse.
It could be like Dallas season going.
No, the only worse is the Jets, and we'll get to Dallas next.
Oh my God.
At least our highlight of this year, though, is Malik Neighbors is the real deal. I mean, he's a real deal. I'm happy we have him. Right, we're gonna build.
Even y'all running back. What's his name? Tracy, right?
Yeah, I like him too. And not only that, did you know Tracy was a receiver?
Yep.
Yeah. But Coach Byron told me about him all the time. I mean, before a receiver, man, that guy can actually run. He can tote the rock.
Yeah.
But this goes back to what I was a couple of things I was saying a few weeks ago, right? Was what is run the ball. Well, we can't run the ball because I don't care. Run the ball. Do something to be able to run the ball. You understand? And
Well, I
and
thought
if we
Danny
didn't try
Jones
running,
started that run game.
if we didn't try running with anybody, we would never uncover Tracy.
True.
You understand? So
True.
you're losing. It's not working your way. Run the ball. Control the thing. Let's get our we have another guest coming on stage. I went from no one's coming on to like 2 trick-or-treaters. My fraternity brother, Mr. Jon Ronneberg. What's up, my brother?
Hey, long time
Hey
no
guys,
see.
what's going on? Yeah, Santiago Bob beat me to come on tonight, so I said I better come on. So I haven't talked to you guys in a while. Was hanging out with your little frat brother last Thursday night.
Which one?
Roy.
Oh, I got
Roy
6.
Yeah. So
Roy is awesome. He's a great athlete.
he was. He is. Well, he's still the dude is huge now. He's like cut, made me sick.
Yeah, he's always. This is one of our fraternity boys play football. He's youngin from New Brunswick, but he's a good guy. Good guy.
Yeah,
All right.
great
Well,
guy.
we were talking about the Giants game and how the statistics of the game and the score of the game isn't indicative of how bad the Giants still look. They had 11 penalties, 5 on one drive. Still gave up another 4 sacks.
Yeah, they were bad.
And it was a one-score game.
I know. That's what doesn't correlate because, having been bitten by the Russell Wilson bug the previous 2 years, I'm happy the guy's doing well. All right, I really am. Can't begrudge him. He's playing great, but that score should have been much higher just based on the prior week's performance. But I have really no Giants. Their defense is okay, I guess. I don't know. I didn't watch the whole game. I got to apologize on that.
That's okay. I want to get you, and we're going to get into your comment a little later, Eric, because you missed our show. Was it last week or the week before when Joey Bag of Donuts was on? So
that's when I wanted to come on. I told you it wasn't that I forgot. I wanted to jump on when he was on.
You should have came on. All right.
I think I caught up with the kids.
Okay, so we'll get into the next. Okay, so after that, the next thing is, and we're going to move along because we got a group and we got a lot to cover here. All right, the next thing I wanted to talk about is to see what your guys' comments on this. We're going to get back into the Russell Wilson again and the Steelers and Tomlin, but let's talk about Daniels. I don't know if you saw their article. Daniels went to his right tackle and told him, "Listen, I'm going to take the accountability. It was my fault. I didn't call out the offensive line coverage we needed. They needed one of their guys. Byron, why don't you elaborate on it? One of the guys, Chip, TJ Watt.
Yeah, when he fumbled, they wanted
the last sack that fumbled the ball.
They wanted Theo Johnson was supposed to come down and chip TJ Watt. That's what caused that, and he didn't make the call. Being a quarterback, he's supposed to. But he did. He went to the right tackle and said, "Well, hey, that's my fault. That I didn't make this call, and that's why this happened." So he took the accountability. But it is what it is. He made it. He's in his 6th year, and he shouldn't be making mistakes like that. That's the only problem I have with he's better than that. But it is what it is with them.
And he told the coach, and the coach mentioned it in the after post game interview. He said, Daniel missed the call. He should have called that strip sack. And when you do that against TJ Watts, like you would think that I would be. If it was me, I was a quarterback, I'd be scared. So I don't understand how he could miss calling that coverage when you got one of the best defensive linemen coming after you with 2 minutes and 58 seconds left in the game. How does one miss the coverage call like that, Byron? What are your thoughts on happening there?
He was so caught up with the other things probably were going on at the time, and it was a rush because trying to hurry up and score to tie the game up, and he probably just straight up forgot. I don't know how you forget the TJ, but he's right there looking at you. And I don't know how you forget that this guy is here. That would be the first thing I would do, or even maybe if the young rookie tight end will remember to take it upon himself to chip this guy or something. But I don't know. It's just weird that again he's in his 6th year and he shouldn't be doing stuff like that, but he is.
Yeah, and he took the accountability, but man, I just don't know how to miss TJ Watts. What are your thoughts on the taking accountability for that and him missing the call, Eric?
I mean, I agree with the fact that he stepped up and took on, the gumption to say, "Hey, I messed up." But I also say this to this, as far as the NFL players themselves. That's a grown man. That's 2 grown men standing up against each other. It shouldn't have to take for somebody to ask for help. Yeah, I know TJ Watt is the man and all of that. But that's another grown man standing in front of him that got the same amount of years probably in the league just like him. So at what point is he going to be like, is he going to step up and do his job? Like, I get it. You ain't make the call. That's cool. But still, you get paid like I do. So should you still get paid your full check because you missed that block completely? You was a turnstile on that one. That wasn't no excuse. Then on top of that, I'm going to tell you what I think will happen. This is what I think from his perspective. Then, like you said, he's 2 minutes. You're trying to score. You're trying to micromanage everything else. But he was trying to make sure that I don't know if there was a rookie left tackle that you had. He didn't want him to mess up. So he called out the call for him. But he sure as hell didn't think that his right tackle, the guy that's standing right in front of his face, was going to just blow or whiff on the tackle. I mean, on the defensive end. Now, I get it. TJ Watt, I get it. But damn, that's a grown man. That's all I'm saying.
But don't you think, okay, back in the day with Lawrence Taylor.
By the way, that's a good point. I like the counter. I like it, Eric. I like it.
But you don't think, back in the day when Lawrence Taylor was playing, when them quarterbacks walked up to that line, what was the first thing they did? They looked over there. They was like, "Where's 56? Where's 56?" TJ Watt is the same kind of player.
No, I'm not saying. Listen, I'm not denouncing that he's a great player. What I am saying is a man that made it to the league, he went through the same rigors to make it to the league. He's a starting player. He's not a backup. He's your starting right tackle. You can't turn around. Help! You can't do that. You can't do that in 2 minutes because, listen, I get it. Like, he made a mistake. He didn't call out the right protections. But at the end of the day, man up. Because you and I both know. I mean, and anybody that ever played the game or played any sports.
We got you. Yes.
It's about competition.
By the way, the tackle said the same thing, though, just so you know. The tackle
he did say the same thing I'm saying?
The tackle said he didn't want Daniel Jones. He didn't want Daniel Jones to take the blame. He said it was his accountability, regardless of what he called. He shouldn't have gotten beat so bad by TJ Watt. So the tackle himself called it, but it's the quarterback's job to make that call. You know what I mean? That's why you have audible abilities and so forth. But that's a great point what you said, and the tackle said the same thing. Just Dable agreed that with that Daniel.
You know what that was called? That was called a watch. That was
John,
like
hold on a second. That was an Ole. That was an Ole block. Ole.
Yeah.
John,
let me put this in perspective. 6 years for Daniel Jones now? Can't believe it's been that long. Has it? 6.
Unfortunately.
Okay, do you think I'm just going to put something out there? Do you think Tom Brady, after his 3rd year, would mess up that call? No. Do you think John Elway would have ever, against the Giants, he knew where Lawrence Taylor was usually on his back, but we knew that anyway. But what I'm saying is he's been in the league this long period of time. He should know how to handle a 2-minute drill and everything. Calling out the offense and the line settings, that's part of his job. And making sure they have that. I appreciate him taking accountability, but he should never have been in the position where he has to take the accountability. He should have called it out, period. So, 6-year pro. 6-year pro.
I said my piece, and, I think they're all valid points across the board. Across the board, there's sentiment on both sides. But you're comparing also Daniel Jones' play. You got to compare him to guys like the younger ones? Like, are they making those calls? And apparently, is it their line or they're not making the calls? When do we know when Jaden Daniels missed a call? When do we know when? Like, we don't know that until someone steps up and says it, right? So my point being is comparing him to the guys you compare it to. It's just it's not even close, right? I mean, right now, C.J. Stroud is better than Daniel Jones. Jalen's better than him. Jalen Hurts is better than this. All these guys are better than him. You know
why don't I say a guy who's not better than him right now? That's Aaron Rodgers.
We'll get
mushrooms. That's why
we'll get to that. All right, listen. I was gonna get on Dallas a little bit, but let's jump into the Phillies since Eric is on the show. Let's get into his stuff first.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this off.
We'll
be there for a while.
Okay, we're gonna talk about Dallas. But look, I still want to cover Dallas, and I want to cover Washington, and then now that John's on the show, we'll cover a little bit about the Broncos. All right. So let's go. Phillies. Here, I got the numbers with the Phillies now. Let's get rid of this. Okay, we got the Philadelphia Eagles. All right, so I'm gonna let you go first. What do you think about the game? And is this their turnaround? Is this the light switch? Is this the light switch?
No, I'm not even gonna fool myself because last time I talked to you, we went on a skid. So, no, I'm gonna be real with you. We got an easy schedule this year. We took the trip to what's this? San Juan, wherever we took it to, and we did our thing. But then when we came back to the States, we act like we didn't have any sense. So as far as the game itself, are they doing what they're supposed to do? Yes. That was because Sirianni shaved his head bald and had a kumbaya with Jalen and the rest of the team, and they said, "Listen, dude, we can't keep running these plays. We can't keep running these Harry High School plays any longer. We got to get back to some of the basic stuff." And that's what we did. And run the ball, give it to Saquon, let him do his thing. I know y'all didn't want to hear that, but throw the ball deep when you need to throw it short when you need to throw it, and play football.
Bro, Eric, I got to send you recaps of our show so you don't say stuff like that. I've been rooting for Saquon since he went. Byron's the hater. I'm the opposite. So stop. Remember what I said. I'm happy for Saquon. I got my comments on it next. Okay, so look, let me just give you some stats here, right? You're 397 total yards to 280. It's over 100 yards more. Passing was 236 to 222, close. Rushing, you killed them rushing, 161, which is 100 by Barkley and 50 something by Jalen. And the Bengals only had 58 yards. It was terrible. Your defense stepped up this game. No sacks allowed. You had 4 penalties for 40 yards versus 1 to 3. Time of possession was relatively close. So here's an example. It was relatively close other than rushing yards, and it was a blowout. Well, you'll see that tendency. So, but I'll make my comments on that next. Byron, what are your thoughts on that? Is this the spark that's going to turn them around? Is the light switch turned on or what?
Here, we're going to start. Might as well start again. Yeah, the switch is turned because what did they do? They turn around and they're handing the ball to who? That guy that I won't mention his name. And that he's doing his thing.
Saquon Barkley.
I'm being a hater right now. Turn around and everything's gonna run through him for the rest of the year. Him, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, they got him involved. Whenever Dallas Goedert comes back, and they're gonna be fully loaded. The Kobe Dean is playing very well. Linebacker. They finally got a real linebacker. Gene Cooper, the rookie cornerback, he's not bad at all. I wish the Giants had picked it, but that's another thing. But the defense played pretty well. Considering Cincinnati was minus the one receiver. T. Higgins didn't play, and they just had Chase. But for most part, they did a pretty good job. But everything runs through that guy, number 26. Everything.
Okay, but answer the question. Is this the spark? Is going to turn them around to play in what we thought they should be playing like for the last 2 years?
Yes, they have a real running back there, that guy. Okay. Everything's going to run through him.
Mr. John, any comments on this game?
I agree with Byron. The fact that Saquon is, and I've always praised Saquon, regardless who he played for. I don't think the Eagles needed a spark. I think they just hit a bit of a rut. and an adjustment period. When we get to the end of the season, it's going to be Washington looking up at Philly. So only because Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback right now. And I think that's going to be the big difference when we get to the end of the season.
Yeah, I like that.
Now it's my turn. Okay, because unlike some of you guys, I actually listen to my own show. Okay, and I am still not convinced that this is the spark for Philly. I think they had a great game. I thought they played very well. Their defense has come around. Listen, Hurts threw to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different receivers. 3 of them. A.J. Brown makes a difference. They're 4-0 with A.J. Brown, and they're putting up 29 points, right? Each of the receivers had 85 yards, 84 yards, 58 yards, your 3 top receivers. But the same thing happened last year. They were starting off slow. Our reason was preseason. Then they had an awesome game. On one game, they're like, now they look like the Philly I believed in. That's what they had me last year. I'm just not going to be tricked in yet. I'm not going to take it one game. I'm going to take it week by week. So until they can go back to back with games like they played against the Bengals, the Bengals are 2-6. Yeah, but you can still been winning ugly. You can win as many. There's a lot of ugly looking teams that are winning, right? So like you said, if that's the case, then John's comment that that Washington be looking up at Philly, they're 5-2 too. So I mean, let's forget about the records, right? That's the history. Let's see if history doesn't repeat itself. Personally, I think there's something between Sirianni and Hurts. Something's not kosher there. On paper, you guys should win. Okay, but you had a big game. That's just my feeling on that. I think there's something there. If they get past that and they can produce in the manner, and I love Saquon is still rushing for 100-something yards. I think he's the right back for them. I think he's a big factor in that game. A.J. Brown being out in the first few games was a big factor, right? But so let's see. They got everybody they have now running, and if they continue playing the way that team presents itself on paper, then I'll convert back over. But until then, I'm not going to believe. I'm not going to buy into the hype yet. One game at a time. Yes, Mr.
The big thing, they have Big Dom has a headset now, so he's actually running the offense now. That's what's going on there. He does. He's got a headset. Big Dom is running.
I heard it's connected to Eric. Like Eric's like calling up Big Dom and giving him some pointers and saying, "Hey,
so man. Big Dom is the security guy that got kicked out the game at the 49. Was that 49ers game, I believe? And since then, that's when we started spiraling downhill. But now they gave him a different title. He's actually some type of coach. I don't know what type of coach.
Like the game day head of security or some crazy
something like that. So he pretty much keep Nick Sirianni on the leash to a certain extent.
And he's got a headset.
He says, Nick, you can do all that crazy stuff, but just not that. Like you can't do that one thing, and it's working. I mean, it's working for everybody. I guess so. I mean, I agree with you, Victor. I agree with you. We'll see. We have to see.
Now, look, I've always said, Eric, for the last 2 years, that was a way better team on paper than what was being played, right? That's a good team, right? It's just something wasn't kosher for me as they kept going. When is it turning? When is it turning? And that's my only thing. But on paper, having Saquon, and I'm happy for Saquon's success, to be honest. Byron doesn't want to hear it, okay? But he's put up 100 yards. That's why I really thought, Byron and I both thought last year or the beginning of the year that if he goes to MetLife Stadium and puts up 150 yards and scores, that somebody's going to be fired. And we were wrong.
Yeah.
But I believe it should have been solid. And back to the Jets, solid should have been fun. We'll talk about that in a little bit. All right. Let's get on. You be good. Let's move on to Dallas. All right. Dallas is, oh man, it's happy. Dallas is, look, here's another game that was a one-score game. Okay. And here are the stats of the game, right? Oh man, Jesus, their defense is terrible. See what happens when that was Dan Quinn left, right?
Yeah, he's not doing too great of a job right now in New Orleans. So
okay, so now, but look, it's 469 total yards versus 292. Passing is 236 to 240. They gave up 223 yards rushing. 223 yards rushing, and they only had 56 yards rushing. Imagine he doesn't think that Derrick Henry would made a difference. The time of possession was only time of possession was maybe 7 minutes long. They had San Francisco had a lot of penalties, 9 for 73, right? They allowed 2 sacks, both teams. So there Dallas looks terrible. Number one. Number two, again, it goes back to everybody knows you beat Dallas by rushing the ball, right? Run the ball down the throat, run the ball down the throat. And what did the Giants do? Pass the ball, losing a game. That's why I go back to run the ball so you don't figure out where Tracy is. That's why we need Tracy. But Dallas is looking bad. And to go with that, Prescott said it's a must-win game for the Falcons. So what do you think is wrong with Dallas, John?
Everything. It's Dallas. I've said it. I've said it for the last couple of years. You go through the cycle with Dallas. This is our year. Oh, we're going to get better. Oh no, we're losing. Oh, this is someone else's fault, and then we get circle right back. This is our year. It's not your year ever, Dallas. Okay, and I work for people in Dallas. I don't care. I'm going to be there in a week. I don't care. That team is garbage from top to bottom. All right. Mike McCarthy, good coach, bad team. Dak Prescott, good quarterback, bad team. The rest of the team, Micah Parsons, I hope when his rookie contract is gone, he goes somewhere there where they're going to appreciate him. But the team is garbage, plain and simple. That's it.
Eric?
Well, I concur. I concur. Like, listen, what I don't understand, and I said this, I think the last
which part, the coach, the quarterback,
all of it, because it's just bad. Like, I feel bad for the fans of Dallas. The reason why is because they, in their mind, really think that they're looking at something that is a winning team. They're just in their heart of hearts, they know damn well what they're looking at is trash. But in their hearts, they looking at gold, and I don't understand why. Because, like I said on the last show, I feel like Jerry Jones played them. And I don't like the fact that he played them like that. Long as, he got all of that stuff that's going on inside the stadium, TV working, lights is working, cheerleaders rocking and all of that, that's all he cares about. As far as the team and the production that they putting out and with the presentation, he don't care nothing about that. He don't care nothing about that. He don't care nothing about the fans. Nope. And I just don't like that part. So, like I said with Mr. John, I concur with everything that he said. It's unfortunate that it's going in this way, but.
And just to touch on one thing he said, he's only concerned with ticket sales and what they can get in the stadium. Oh, can we get WrestleMania there next year? Can we get this? Can we get that? Can we get Taylor Swift? Whatever. He doesn't care about the football product because he knows that they are going to come no matter what, right? And he's going to get his money either way by putting out that kind of garbage. But he's looking at what else can I put in the stadium. So that was a good point, Eric.
Thank you.
So Byron, is it because he's for sale or?
How old is he?
Start that again, like 80s.
All right, 80s. So look, Dallas. They're falling apart. I mean, their defense was that's what held them together for the last couple of years. They put up big numbers offensively during the year. They just, we knew going into this season something was wrong because it was too quiet over the summer with the Cowboys. Didn't we make that statement, Byron? We said something's wrong. Man, we have nothing. No trades are being made. Nothing's taking place. All these other pieces who they got to pay. Nothing's happening, and they look bad. I mean,
they brought Zeke back though, so that was kind of important.
I'm happy for Zeke, but I just, they look bad. At the end of the day, hey, it is what it is. I thought Jerry Jones really, really wanted to win a Super Bowl. I thought he was the Steinbrenner of football, and he isn't. Byron?
Like, everybody's been saying, he's more interested in what could he put in that, Jerry world, that big old giant stadium that they got down there instead of putting a good product, on the football, on the field. They know he knew that the defense wasn't going to be very good without Micah Parsons. He's hurt. And look how bad they're playing. You got Brandon Cooks as the second wide receiver for the Cowboys. They don't even use that guy. He was 1,000-yard receiver for 3 or 4 other teams. They don't even use him. It's either throw it to CD hand it off to CD. Prescott run around a circle, make a play, to the tight end, and that's it. They have no imagination on offense. None. It's CD Lamb or bust, and that's it. You stop them, you're good to go.
Another guy that hopefully when his contract is up goes to a good team.
Now they just signed him a ton of money. He ain't going anywhere.
Poor CD. Sorry.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
There you go.
Too bad.
He's not going anywhere. All right. So the Cowboys are the Cowboys, which is going to make the NFC. It goes back to NFC East has the longest tenure of a no one has won the conference back-to-back years. It's like maybe 20. It's been a long time.
You said that
right?
before.
So Dallas won it last year. Philly let them sneak by. So now it's Philly and Washington. All right, let's get into that Chicago Washington game. Byron, you know I'm going to start this off. And why am I going to start this off, Byron?
Because you played DB?
Yes, sir. And what does that mean as a free safety? Who's the only person that's allowed to be behind you?
Nobody.
The zebra.
Nobody.
Zebra.
The
zebra. That's it. Outside of that, nobody. Nobody should be behind you. Number one. Number two, I wonder if that guy got fined for taunting and doing everything he did.
He should have got cut.
While the play was being made. And then he was the guy that tipped the ball up instead of going to the receiver that was the deepest receiver. There's no reason for him to go for the ball. He was supposed to go body on body like you're playing basketball, number one. Number two, I don't understand why Chicago didn't have like a big, tall receiver back there, like their best receiver. Normally, a lot of times in a Hail Mary situation, Byron, don't they put a very tall, athletic receiver to be able to block the ball down or you get rid of the ball?
Or catch it or something, yeah.
Okay, so
Chicago doesn't have any talented receivers.
Yeah, sure he does.
One or two, but
he does got a couple of receivers, man. He's putting up some numbers. He's got some receivers. One receiver should have been back there. 1, 2, and defensive back should have not ran into the ball. He shouldn't have worried about the ball because even if the ball was caught, it was short. I don't think it was in the end zone. Didn't it get tipped into the end zone?
Yeah, right.
By him. Yeah.
So that's one. Number two. Look, Jaden Daniels, if I go and give you the numbers, I mean, this guy is balling out, though. I mean, it's not like it's not like, if you look at the numbers, let's go to these things, okay? The total yards for Washington's 481. 313 yards passing, 168 yards rushing. This goes again to the score is indicative to the stats, right? They had the ball for 5 minutes longer. Their penalties weren't so bad. They allowed 2 sacks, a lot of punts in this game, 12 punts total. So the stats, Washington should have won outright. Why it was so close, I don't understand. But
red zone issues.
Bottom line is, was that
red zone issues?
Red zone issues, and then number two, Jalen Daniels playing great football. And I'll end with this: winning teams, and they seem to got that spark. This kid is good. Sometimes that happens. Good teams find ways to win, and other teams choke on them. And remember, I always said they're the Bears. And didn't I say, Byron, on this show, it's going to be a repeat of last year where the second pick quarterback is going to outperform the number one quarterback.
Yep.
Oh, man. You ain't watched the game. Because what I saw was
it was about numbers. Game. He's outperforming. Look at the numbers, though. It wasn't like game.
He in Chicago. I mean,
he didn't put the ball in.
Listen.
So anyhow, I'll let Byron, you go next, and then I'll let you go, Eric. Go.
All right.
I watched it too.
I just want to talk about the
Hail Mary.
That's all I want to talk about. That's it. I want to know why. They said that they had 3 timeouts where they could have, when they saw this knucklehead doing what he was doing, going down the field, they should have called timeout as like, yo, what are you doing? position people where they're supposed to be, and then go ahead and continue on. But no, they let the whole. They said it was 4 seconds, and he's ah ah ah, and then he realizes the ball's up in the air. He's like, oh, let me get over it. And then instead of running to where he should have been, he runs into the pile, and next you know the ball goes in the air and it goes right to the guy. He said, oh, I'll take that. And that's all you can say about that. He's a pretty good player. I think that Tyreek Stevenson, he's normally a pretty good player, like a really good corner. And for him to do that knucklehead move, what he did, he should be at least, not fined, but suspended by the team for a half or something. Do something to the guy. But that was not a professional player.
Well, Byron, let me ask you: if he's suspended, does he lose his pay?
Yeah, I was suspended.
But does he lose pay when they get suspended?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so what's the difference? Fining him or suspending him, he's going to lose money.
Well, suspend, do something to him.
Eric, go ahead, Eric.
So I watched the game. I think the young man, he's a phenomenal quarterback. Both of them are actually first and second round. The game came down to Chicago coming back because they were actually losing that game, and the reason why the Hail Mary was thrown was because of that reason, because they were up. Now, as far as the young man that completely lost his mind doing what he was doing, yeah, I'm harsh like that. So I would have said, yo, is you pay how you weigh or you out here? Because we pay you to be a professional. You out here trying. Now, you don't want nobody to tease you. You don't want the fans to tease you. You don't want the fans to talk crazy to you. But you talking crazy to them on a play that came down to winning and losing. And you made sure we lost because karma is something else, ain't it? Because the same guy that was teasing them people is the same one that knocked it up in the air so they could score the touchdown.
Yeah.
And it's all on tape. So he can't blame nobody but himself. So if I was the head coach, what I would have done is, one, I would have made him apologize to the team, and then I would have did what Jimmy Johnson would have did. I would have cut his ass right after that. Excuse my language on your show. I would have cut him right after that. Just to let him know and everybody else know within the organization, we don't play like that. Because you and I both know we pay you to do your job so we could go home. Because it's hard to win in the NFL, especially when we came back from however many points we were down. So that's me. I'm sorry, about that word.
Yeah, but
you were down too many points. It was 18, 15 games.
It was a tight game.
All right, John, what are your thoughts?
Real quick.
We'll come back to you, Byron. We'll come back to you.
I've always said the Browns are the Browns, the Jets are the Jets,
the
Bears. And I love the Bears. I lived in Chicago for a great long time.
It's the Bears.
The Bears. Yeah, the Bears. There's no S, it's a Z type thing. I love Chicago. I love the Bears, but they're still the Bears. The young man, I don't think you cut him. You suspend him, game check, or make him play without getting paid. Because once they get back to Soldier Field, those Bears fans are going to be all over him. His own team fans are going to be all over his butt until he does something to get it off. So,
let me just share you something with you, Eric. Okay, and then everybody. Okay, Caleb Williams was 10 of 24 for 131 yards, 0 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Okay. Jaden Daniels is 21 for 38 with 326 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. He balled out. How they only scored 18, I have no idea. But he balled out. When it came number one, and he had a rib injury. They weren't sure he was even going to play because they were saying, man, it would be nice to see the number one versus the number two. Yeah. We saw it. Jaden balled out.
Until they get tape, like Byron said, until they get tape on them, they're gonna keep balling out. Like they gotta let him play through, figure out what type of guy he is, and get some tape on him, and then we'll see next year if he's doing the same thing.
Now let me ask you a question. You're right, Byron. I'm supposed to go to you. Go ahead.
That play would have never happened because prior to that one, they had that 15-yard out where they got the 15 yards to get that, where they can throw it 55, 60 yards. They know he got that kind of arm. If they had defended the way they were supposed to, or they only sent 3 rushers. If they had sent, Rex Ryan was saying, 4 or 5 at him and make him move around and whatever, that play would have never happened because they gave that extra 15 yards. He wasn't going to throw the ball. You figure he threw it 60 yards in the air, whatever it was. He ain't throwing the ball 75 yards in the air. He might, who knows? But if they had done what they were supposed to do, the play prior to, that would have never happened.
And by the way, that goes back to how much Daniels is balling. He had to make that 15-yard play to get his team in the position to throw a Hail Mary.
Yep.
Right. So yes, defense should have done it, but Jaden Daniels, when it came down to make the big play to get him a shot for the Hail Mary, made it. So I'm happy for them. The one thing I want to ask you, though, we just had a question about Daniel Jones taking accountability, being a grown man. Eric really ripped into it. Why isn't any of the coaches taking a responsibility for calling a simple timeout? I mean, you do it all the time in defense, in goal line defense, right? If you're not sure what they're calling, you want to see what they have, you call timeout, right, Byron?
Yep.
Change it. How can you not do this with a Hail Mary? Protect yourself.
The Bears are the Bears.
But I'm asking, the question is about Daniels taking accountability. What are your thoughts on that? Shouldn't the coach have taken accountability the way Byron and everybody else has mentioned? You could have called timeout. They had 3 timeouts, I think.
Yeah. It was. All right. Nathaniel Hackett was the worst head coach in NFL history.
I can't win with Eric. One guy's a grown man. He got to call his plays. And he's a head coach. He's the CEO. He's got to be prepared for this type of situation.
Yep. There's a reason why Nathaniel Hackett is not a head coach anymore because of stuff like that when he's in Denver.
Byron, what do you think about accountability? Got to go both ways.
He kind of sort of took responsibility, but it was like something he really shouldn't have said. He should have kept his mouth shut because when stuff like that happens, if he was at another team, stuff like that gets coaches fired. They get the owner brings you in on Monday. You know what? You had 3 timeouts. This guy was doing this. He's out of control. You should have called timeout to stop what's going on. You didn't, so you know what? I'm gonna hold you responsible. You're out. Any other team, you got fired.
Hold on. Now, let's go to that Dak Prescott is saying the Atlanta game, and we got a few minutes. I want to talk a little bit about the Broncos, but real quick, the Atlanta game is a must-win. Let me tell you who's balling out. Kirk Cousins he's playing to his contract, man. This guy, he is playing to his contract. He's had 23 of 29 for 276 yards and 4 TDs. Okay. And then did they rush for? Let's see, rushing. The Falcons rushed for 129 yards, so they should run the ball against Dallas. What do you think, Byron?
Yeah, well, they do have a good running back. Bijan Robinson is a really good running back. He's like a top 3 back, so they're probably going to turn around and hand it off to this guy a lot. They got a good tight end. That gives Dallas problems. They got, they do have, the receivers, and Kirk Cousins is playing well. So. They might cause a little problem.
Kirk Cousins not no scrub, man. We all know that. He can play some good football. It's just when we get around the playoffs, we don't know what he's going to do.
He's going to win one game.
We
know what he's going to do. He's going to win one game. That's all he's done so far. So we know what he's done. I'm sorry.
But we got a different Kirk Cousins now.
Yeah, we don't know what he's going to do, but we know what he's done. He's gotten paid, and he's only won one playoff game.
Well, listen, he said, I guess he following Atlanta lore. He said, step into the trap, take over the trap. I'll let you figure out what that means. But at the end of the day, he down there balling right now, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we'll have a definition in that in the comments below. We'll define that. That's a Philly Winters term. So for those of you that are not up to speed with the lingo, Eric, please define what you meant in the column for our listeners, please. All right, I appreciate it.
Oh, man.
John.
Go Atlanta. Go Falcons. That's all I got to say.
Well, okay, so I guess the Pirate. Let me just rephrase.
No. He said it's a must-win, right?
Dak saying it's a must-win.
So I'm saying go
coming
Atlanta
against a hot Atlanta team with Kirk Cousins, right? Who would you pick? Who do you pick for that game to win?
Atlanta.
Yeah.
Eric,
you know I ain't picking Dallas.
Byron.
So, you know, I don't care.
Go Falcons.
Yeah, there you go. Dirty Bird.
So if it's a must-win, Santiago brought this up. He says, "Hey, if it's a must-win, what do you think he's trying to do? What is he doing with that? Because that came up in the conference, and my feeling is, I just think Dak is calling out his team.
They don't care about Dak and his
I'm with Eric.
Parsons and what's the cornerback? His brother just got hurt.
Diggs.
They was on a podcast talking about him like he don't even exist. Like he's not the star quarterback for Dallas. They don't care. We don't care. Like, come on, let's just move on.
Yeah.
Man.
Really? Okay. All right. Well, it's already good. All right. I was going to skip over the Jets. Let's talk a little bit about the Broncos. Talk to me how the Broncos. How do you feel about the season? How do you feel about Bo Nix? What do you think? I don't like Sean Payton. So, but go ahead.
I know. I have problems with him right now because he's not letting Bo play. He's calling good games. I understand what he's doing, but you've seen flashes of what Bo Nix can do. Just even last week. But let me preface my whole appearance by saying Santiago has texted me every week for the last 5 weeks after the Broncos won. You going on the show? You going on the show? You going on? So yes, Santiago, I'm here. All right. So let's talk about number 3 defense in the NFL. All right. A lot of people don't know that. Number 3 defense in the NFL right now. Okay. You have Pat Surtain. You have a no-name defensive line. You have the kid Bailey, a little white kid playing corner, and better than I'm sorry to hate to say I've seen you play.
I got you.
Yeah, he's good. Little kid. He's really good.
On Halloween, I got dig.
I know. It was not meant to be a dig. It really was not.
No. I like this squad.
Just the fact that you compare me to an NFL player, I'm take pride. He's way better than I ever could have been.
Yeah, but and you look at a running game that's coming along. You look at now they're getting Cortland Sutherland involved not only in the pass catching game but the passing game. You're starting to see Bo Nix develop into a pretty good player. But okay, and you guys know that I'm very skeptical. I love my team, but I'm skeptical. We have the 2 toughest games of the season coming up this week and next week. We have the Ravens in Balmer, not Baltimore, Balmer. I used to live there. All right. Then you have that team in the city that I will not even say their name. I despise them so much, have since birth. Okay, the 2 toughest games in a row. All right. If they win one of those games, I think, and I always say, we'll at least be number 2. There's a very good chance Denver will be that number 2 team in the AFC West with a possible wild card. Okay, now, once again, I'm not saying it's going to happen because I am a skeptical MF. All right? It just, that's who I am. You guys know that. I've been burnt too many times. Yes, we have the Super Bowls. Love having Super Bowls.
He's on a roll, folks.
But exactly.
He saved all his energy for Santiago.
Yeah, so Santiago, this is your fault, man. But let me just go ahead and put it to you like this. I love seeing them win. All right? But I'm waiting for that little bit of a heartbreak. I know that's going to follow it. But no, I'm happy with what they're doing. I want to see Sean Payton let Bo Nix off the leash because I think the kid has so much more that he's being held back. He's great at hitting those, checkdowns. Great at it. But if you saw the couple plays he's made downfield, he's got an arm. The kid has a cannon. Let him use it. I'm done.
And there you have it. Byron, he got all that pent-up podcast rage there. Byron, what you got?
Oh boy, does it! I have nothing after all that. I just let him go. Let him cook. Let him cook. I have nothing to say after that.
All right. Again, Eric, Byron, you got something to say, Eric?
He not lying. He was cooking, man, with adobo, man. I'm trying to tell you. He had all the good spices out there.
He went Eric on us.
The only thing that I do want to ask you, Mr. John, because I know you said you have a no-name defense. Howie is he's snooping around up there for y'all defensive ends. How do you feel about that?
There's I can't think of the guy's name at the time. 99 Alex something. He is I think he's leading the AFC West in sacks right now. Can't think of the guy's name. They do have a couple big boys up front. Mm-hmm. So as far as defensive end and linebackers, Barrett Browning, he's back. He's actually getting some good penetration, but they're not getting the sacks that they should be getting. When you get in those situations where playing lead, you want the ears pinned back. You want the Doberman position. You want to go after that quarterback. They're not necessarily – they're getting some sacks, but they're not getting the ones they should be getting.
All right, well, just know how he up there snooping around.
Yeah, Patrick Surtain the second. That kid's a baller, dude.
PS2, baby. And Santiago asked me a few weeks ago if he was worth the contract. And after the next game, he had 2 interceptions. I said, yeah, Santi, is worth the contract.
6'2", strong tackle coverage guy, comes from great genes. Trust me, that guy was a baller. All right, so the team, two things. You got the Ravens coming up, and you got the Chiefs. I'll say it. You got the Chiefs. Let me tell you my thoughts on this, okay? One, I don't like Sean Payton. Two, I'm impressed with Bo Nix. He's balling out. He's playing some good ball. It's nice to see some of these young guys. And the funny part is they're comparing them to a lot of these other kids. The Ravens, they didn't look so good last game.
No.
Okay? They look bad, so they're beatable, right? So you got that game there, you got beatable, number one. Number two, the thing that you got going for you with the Chiefs, right, is that they're undefeated. And I don't believe any team in this day and age is going to go undefeated. And I think usually it's harder when you're playing a conference team, right? So you do have some things going in your direction. I still think the Chiefs are going to win the conference. But, if you're going to win a game, you should win one out of the two games, regardless of who it is.
Well, I like how they won. Go ahead, Byron.
The Ravens are not the Ravens on defense. When they were the Ravens back in the day, they would punch you in the mouth and they beat you up when you went to Baltimore or wherever they went. They were a lot. I think they've given up like 17 touchdown passes or whatever. So you could throw them. They're not the same team. I think Denver might beat those guys because they're not very good at all. They're going to outscore you, but with the big guy back there and Lamar Jackson. But as far as defensively, they're not that good. They're not a typical Baltimore Ravens defense.
And this is one game where the league could have done the flex schedule, and I think it would have been definitely warranted to do a flex schedule for Sunday night for this game. So,
Eric, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the comments of the two games they got coming up? You got the Ravens and you got the Chiefs, and I gave you the scenarios. I think
Denver always have a hard time with the Chiefs. They always.
Not always. Historically, not always. But go ahead.
The question is, do you agree they got to win one of those two games?
You know what? I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say they're gonna beat the Chiefs because the Chiefs been getting a lot of help. They've been getting a lot of help. They make they have a lot of soft landings in certain games. I'm not gonna say how because it's scripted, but we ain't gonna say it's scripted. But but at the end of the day, I think they're gonna go after the Chiefs. Now the Ravens, unless they give King Henry the ball, man. Like Coach Byron said, their defense is not like that no more. It's nothing to be afraid of. And Lamar, every time every time he get into a tight situation, he always coughing it up. He always messing it up somewhere. So he actually got a chance to win both games. So I'm gonna give you that.
All right, I appreciate that. And I still say the Eagles are going to be winning the NFC East. Sorry, guys, but it's the truth.
Oh, stop patting each other's back, man. Come on, man. Let it go.
Yeah. Remind me of Santiago never to invite these two guys on the same time. I can't get them to stop.
Hey, guys, real quick, I got a book. I want to thank you guys for having me on again.
You have fun? Did you have fun?
I always have fun. You know that.
Well, you should be. Thanks, Santiago, for chasing you down. We miss you. We always like you to come on our show.
I'm going to get an email from him tomorrow saying you didn't need to go full John, but I did.
That's okay.
I'll talk to you guys later, man. It's been fun. I'll see you later.
God bless. Happy Halloween.
Thanks for coming
on. Thanks for coming on. So we're gonna leave it with that. Okay. So that was good. That was a good segment there. That was funny. Yeah. Okay. So we got that. I think we're covering most of those teams. So what do you think, Byron? What do you think? How do you think the Broncos are going to do the next two games? 1-1, 0-2.
I think they can beat both of them.
So 2-0.
I think they can. The Chiefs are, a lot of games that they've won by a touchdown or less, and they're just hanging on by a thread. So it can happen.
And Eric said the same thing. So I am going to say 1-1 because I just.
But which one?
Which one? I don't know. I'm just going to go 1-1. They're going to win one of the two games, right? But I won't go 2-0 because I can't imagine. No, I don't believe they'll go 2-0. I don't like Peyton, and I'm going against Mahomes.
The Chiefs are what, 6-0, right?
Yeah, they're
7-0.
And they just picked up another. They just picked up another receiver.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they got to work him in, right?
Yeah.
But not only that, they due for a loss. Like if you think they're gonna pull off where was that Miami that went all the way through the season?
Yes,
without a loss.
Yes, Miami.
Yeah, they're not pulling that off. So they due for a loss.
Yes. But can they be back-to-back pull back-to-back wins against two conference teams?
Well, Bo Nix is playing very good. I mean, he got him looking like the Oregon Ducks out there. I mean, he doing his thing, and their defense is a no-name defense, and they rocking and rolling. So, as far as like I said, the Chiefs they due for a loss, and Lamar last week I watched him throw his helmet across the field like 40 times because he could only get one receiver open, and they just picked up a receiver. And what's his name? Zay Flowers? He was the only one that was catching the ball. Everybody else wasn't trying to catch the ball. And it's only so many times you can learn. Huh?
Flowers has already been there. They drafted him. There's another guy.
But they just picked a guy up. And it's only so many times you can run the ball with King Henry. You can't throw it to him out the backfield. He got stone hands. I don't care what you say. He got stone hands. Yeah, he can run all day.
He's not Saquon.
No, he's not Saquon. Not even close. Man.
All right, so let's end the show because I wanted to at least get back to this because you missed it last week when we had Joey Bag of Donuts on. We talked about Russell Wilson's first game, and just so you know, you may have stated it. I'm happy, but I have also stated it all year until Tomlin calls who the starting quarterback is, and he hasn't done it. Russell Wilson will start, and Joey started laughing because I told him that when Russell Wilson was going on a roll, right? But it took Russell Wilson 4 or 5 games to get the team finally to 400. It took Russell 1, and he's already done it twice, right? So I think Tomlin did the right move. I was on the same side position that you were, Eric, that Russell Wilson's going to get his chance no matter what. So,
was he really injured though, or you think he was gearing up towards the season?
No, I think he was injured, and as they saw the team that was still doing well, as you know, Tomlin's a great coach. I think he just wanted to make sure waited till he got ready because that first half they booed him. I mean, they booed him and they wanted Justin Fields. Okay, and then he lit it up, and he's throwing dimes. He's not just getting lucky. He's putting it right on the spot. He is playing good ball, and you got a great coach, and then you got an incredible defense with T.J. Watts running that crew there. So I was on the, I just wanted to bring that up on the same side. What are your thoughts? Now you can go your
Let Russell cook, baby. I told y'all.
See Byron.
Hey, you gotta respect the man here. What MVP of the Super Bowl, right? And he won the Super Bowl. And he got years. Come on, man.
And then threw the interception and lost the Super Bowl. Yeah, that guy.
Oh my God.
He should have. They should have called that play. He should have checked it off.
Marshawn's still talking about that till this day.
Eric, we were the same page, so I like seeing Russell Wilson do well. That's interesting. I can't. Hopefully, they get to play, come across the Broncos, so they get do what he's got to do with Peyton. But hey, Eric, thanks for coming on the show. I thought this was a good show. Byron,
no problem.
Thank you as always. And we're getting ready now. Don't forget to watch the Jersey Boy Sports Talk every Thursday next week at what time, Byron? So they keep asking 8 p.m. At 8 p.m. We'll see how it goes. And good luck for the rest of the season with all the teams. Giants are still giving me a tough time, so I'm watching across the board. Don't forget to subscribe to all the Sportscast, all the channels. Listen to our podcast. You could be able to listen to this and click on the bottom. You get the show notes, and you'll get Eric's translation to what he had stated earlier. And then we will see this weekend if the switch is turned on. Who's Philly playing this weekend?
Who are we playing? It don't even matter. We're going to win.
I know you're going to. It's a matter of. I'm not concerned about the winning. It's concerned about playing.
Or they might have a bye.
No, we don't have a bye. He had it with the second week.
You played the Jaguars.
We definitely should win that game. Ducky P back. He going to let us win.
Remember, I'm not looking for a win. I'm looking for dominant football from the. Okay. I'm looking for dominant football. All right, gentlemen, you have a good night. God bless your families. Happy Halloween, trick or treat. Happy birthday to my cousin Doreen, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.